all right, let's try that again. Like we had to do that one more time, just mainly because look, I wasn't really feeling how I started off. I knew as soon as I didn't hear anything, I didn't hear a single thing. I was like, yeah, we in trouble. I'm in danger. Killers is like, I'm in danger. Killers is like, yeah, but it looks like I definitely need a new microphone now. Yeah, but it looks like I definitely need a new microphone now. Let me see. Let me see. Open Sesame.
There we go. Okay. We just had to fix it all on the fly here, and it's mainly because I just haven't been. I've been listening to the past episodes, and I'm just not a fan of how I've been sounding lately. So I think this microphone is pretty much down and done. So I think this microphone, it might be time to retire it. Might be time to say goodbye to it. But Justin comes in after a hard day's work. He just got off air. My man just got off from working himself. Of course, doing the review of his own. We saw a really, really dope Monday Night Raw. I had my predictions. I was heavy on my predictions. All of them absolutely wrong. It's like all of them just absolutely wrong. But huge shout out to Justin. Huge shout out to Circle of Debate. If you have time, go give a huge subscribe to Circle of Debate, subscribe to Justin. Also follow him on all his social medias. Of course, he will get you in tune with all your wrestling news and all your wrestling content, and he'll break it down for you, make it a whole lot of fun for you, especially coming through on Circle of Debate. Man, it's just a watch party. It's just a watch party. Do you hate having friends over? It's like, do you hate having parties? It's like the Circle of Debate watch parties are top tier. You don't want to miss it one bit. And quite frankly, I haven't been as active as I should. I popped in and out earlier today, late in the tail end of it when AJ Styles. We saw the big AJ Styles news. We'll get into that a little bit later, but that's when I saw you guys. So a huge shout out to Justin. Huge shout out to Circle of Debate. Give those guys a follow. Give those guys, of course, a whole lot of love, because I'm telling you, like, the love that they put into the wrestling community is just is top tier. Is overwhelming. So even if you're looking for a family, if you're looking for a wrestling family, Circle of Debate is definitely the family you want to be a part of. You're gonna be hearing a lot of coughing. I'm still battling the cold myself, man. I was at work. It's struggling. It's struggle city there. Friday and Monday. Friday and today, ain't nobody showing up. Nobody's showing up. That means the sickness is just coming through. It's alive and well. I ain't even posted. I was live. That's the crazy part too. So before we get into the nitty gritty, let's post this on social media real fast. Let's get this all up and active and going. I would say as the kids say, but I don't think the kids say that. I don't think the kids say that. But honestly, man, as soon as they opened up the show, you saw everybody just talk about them giving a huge tribute to AJ Styles. It's going to be AJ Styles heavy, as it should have been, as it should have been. AJ Styles, of course, the great work he's done for WWE in just 10 years. In just 10 years alone, I think says a whole lot. And so you gotta give credit where credit is due. AJ Styles, not only was he also durable in there, of course he had his, fair share of injuries, but still, like, this man was still durable. This man was still getting it done. He was available when you needed somebody to be available, especially holding the WWE Championship when he at the time that he did. You gotta give love to AJ Styles. I can't think of anything negative, in his, besides beating up John Cena. It's negative to me because it means something to me. It's like I was hurt. I was hurt at that time. I was going through a rough days of school, and then turn on my TV screen just to hear somebody say that they was gonna beat up John Cena. I'm like, come on, man. I was like, I turned on wrestling just so I could see John Cena. And now he's getting jumped by AJ Styles and the Good Brothers. So it's huge love for AJ Styles. And it's deserved, like I said, well deserved. But Gunther, of course, interrupted early on into the show interrupted pretty much what was a cold open. You know, Corey Graves, Michael Cole going over the show, and Gunther's like, man, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to get up out of here, man. I got rid of Goldberg. I got rid of John Cena. And, of course, I got rid of your boy. Because they're in Atlanta, Georgia. So he's like, is this y'all boy? Is this y'all king that fell asleep in my arms? You know, it's like, that took a nap. That took a nap in my arm. You know, it's like, is this the same guy that y'all worshiping? You know, like, but, you know, Gunther's reign of terror, of verbal reign of terror, didn't last long. Adam Pearce shut it down. Of course, one of the greatest general managers of all time, said here on the channel, said here on the program. But Gunther gets Adam Pearce says you got to get up out of here. You know, like you're done for the day. Brings his security guards out here. Gunther says, you know what, I'm leaving, but not because you told me to, but because, you know, I don't want to be here. He gets jumped by Dragon Lee from behind the back. Pause. But you know, you gotta give love to Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee showed up to jump Gunther, got choked out for it, you know, about a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, turns right back around, jumps Gunther again, and this time he gets the better of him. And then, of course, who else but Cody Rhodes, you know, shows up right after Gunther gets jumped. Huge shout out to Justin. Loved all the cameos for AJ. Yeah, Frankie Kazarian. We got Abyss. You know, we saw some really, really great characters today, you know, for AJ Styles. I won't necessarily say return. It's more so like a go home, you know, go home retirement episode, I guess you could say, for AJ Styles. And as we talked about, well-deserved, man. Well-deserved. You couldn't have given this to a better guy. This couldn't have been done for a better guy. You know, they played. I'll get into it later. We're going to do this in order. I'm going to do this in order. But, of course, Cody Rhodes has. Oh, man. This made me also remember something that happened in this next match. I'm so heated. I'm so heated that this happened, man. I'm so heated. Let me get this straight. The Vision, a team that was supposed to be like next man. Now, I'm not trying to say that they're evolution. Like, I'm not going to go that far to say like, oh, this was supposed to be the next level. No, not going to go that far. But this was a team that was showing, or at least going to show some serious dominance. Even when they got rid of Seth Rollins, you know, calling him a broke-armed bitch, you know, in Paul Heyman's words. You know, you thought that you were going to get a whole lot more from the Vision. And, of course, after Seth Rollins goes down, you see Braun Breaker go down. You're like, okay, cool. Like, this sucks. But you still got three guys that can go and still put some work in. Man! We get this triple threat match for the Elimination Chamber qualifier. For the elimination, to qualify for the Elimination Chamber match. Jesus Christ, Isaiah's words. You had Jey Uso versus the OG, the original Grande Americano, and Bronson Reed. Now, the problem with this is during the commercial break, you see Bronson Reed, he stops a pin. You know, he breaks up a pin off of Jey Uso, I believe. And you see him as he gets up, just, you know, looks at his arm like, you know, you can tell something's wrong. Then, of course, the next shot you see is him on the floor with a doctor, you know, taking a look at his arm. You can tell, like, the look at his face, like, damn. You know, it's just like, that's just how it is, man. You ever seen basketball players, NFL players, like, they'll grab at their leg, they'll grab at their knee, they'll grab at their arm, and they're like, it's wraps, bro. I'm done. You know, it's like they know before they even got any synopsis, before they even got anything. You know, they know off rip that, hey, look, you know, I tore my ACL. Hey, there's something in my knee. I can't get up. You know, it's just like, hey, it's wraps. And that's always, when you see the reaction, it's always a crushing, depressing feeling, honestly. It's always, you know, it weighs heavy on you. It definitely weighs heavy on you watching something like that, especially in real time. And that's exactly what I felt looking at Bronson Reed, of course, because it just looked like it was normal. You know, it just looked like he was breaking up a pin like normal. I would play it, but I don't want to get flagged by WWE. I know how quick they are to do that. But It's tough, man. It's tough. He breaks up the pin. He kind of looks at his arm. And then, of course, what does this all lead to? A Jey Uso win. Yes, I'm going to complain. Yes, I know we just saw an injury in this match, but I don't know what's worse, the injury or the Jey Uso win. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm sick of Jey Uso. Of course, El Grande Americano, the OG Grande Americano. He, of course, I didn't really expect him to win. You know, he has his beefs going on the side. We're still trying to figure out who he is. You know, if you guys are looking at me in the quotations, you know, you see the skeptical look in my face, the skeptical look in my eyes. Look at my eyes. What do you see? Skepticism. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry, that was lame. Just moving on. Liv Morgan, of course, made her decision. I gotta give it up to Liv Morgan. I love me some Stephanie Vaquer and Justin. Look, respectfully, I know she's your girl, but she got rocked with that microphone. She got decked. Like, Liv Morgan took 2 steps in. Like, she took 2 steps in to boof. Like, you're not gonna get a better sound than that. And I was watching it with my sister, and my sister was like, "Oh man, Stephanie Vaquer just sold that well. Like, she sold that like she got stunned, like she got completely just knocked out, like her lights got cut off." And like she's like just falling gracefully. How do I say goodbye? You know, like it's just like she just got absolutely decked, man. And you gotta give it to Liv. We knew she wasn't picking Jade Cargill. Number one, why was Jade Cargill even there? You know, it's just like Jade Cargill got paid to just show up, put some makeup on, put your title on, walk out. You don't even got to say a couple words. You know, just really pretty much just show face and call it a day. And that's exactly what she did, man. Huge shout out to Justin. Stephanie got made to look like a chump. Yes, she did. Because number one, like, look, let's be honest, like that shit never does work. When the heel usually comes up, I understand what you mean. Like you actually spoke wisdom into me, and now I'm actually going to, get out of my ways and look forward to be a better person. And it's always the baby face. Oh, well, you might be right. Yes, I will shake your hand. You know, it's like, yes, I will go in for the hug. Like, brother, come on now. Like, Stephanie, you literally just chewed this lady out. You chewed this lady out, cussed her out on live TV, on national television. Liv Morgan isn't going to change her mind, literally. And Liv Morgan, she took 2 steps in. Stephanie Vaquer, you should have ducked. Like, she took 2 steps in. You should have ducked that one. I'm sorry. So I do agree with you, Justin. There, I don't disagree at all. Like I'm with you. Stephanie did get made to look weak because every time a baby face is put in that position where the heel is just like, oh well, I know the error. I finally realized the error of my ways, and I'm gonna turn things around for the better. Yeah, brother, you're gonna get kicked in the nuts. I was like, you're getting dick kicked like immediately. Huge shout out to Brian Zane. I do watch Brian Zane's YouTube channel, so I can say dick kick, and I can't say that and not give credit, but we do get Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer at Mania. That's cool and all. Liv Morgan, you not winning this one. Where Devin at, man? Where Devin at? Liv Morgan, you ain't winning this one. I'm gonna be on my notorious down for this one. Like, granted, I don't think she mean it. It's like I do think Liv Morgan is still doing a solid job, but Stephanie Vaquer is just, man, she's on another level. And for her to drop the title to Liv Morgan at Mania, for Liv Morgan to do what exactly? It's like for Liv Morgan to do what exactly? Like, people forget that Liv Morgan's last reign, even though she was just going through the roster, she was having a field day. It was all to lead up to Rhea Ripley at the end of the day, finish the story. It was all to eventually end up going against Rhea Ripley when it was all said and done. Even when she got to her redemption, revenge tour. I'm trying to take everything from you. It's always going to end with Rhea Ripley at that point. So huge shout out to Liv Morgan. I gotta give her a whole lot of love and credit, but especially for that mic, especially for that assault on the mic, man, was absolutely brutal. And Jade Cargill, boof, just with the quickness, boof. Like, oh man, Stephanie Vaquer, I'm sorry, but yeah, I gotta give it to Justin though. Still, yeah, you definitely got made to look like a chump for sure. I gotta give it to Liv. That was pretty funny though, because I saw it and I was like, damn. You know what? You know who else? You know who else got made to look like a chump? Maxxine Dupri. What are they doing? What are they doing? Now, I know this is going to build up and lead up to at some point in time, Maxxine Dupri beating Natty, which I don't want to happen. But they keep giving Maxxine these outs. And my sister says something, and I'm not going to steal it from her. I'm not going to steal it from her. Because after seeing Maxxine Dupri get smacked get her head ricocheted off the ring post, and then she just looked completely knocked out. I was like, dang, like, this is serious. And I'm like, and Natty's still well. And I'm like, oh, this is deep. I was like, this is serious. And then, of course, Natty gets on top of her again. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, okay. You know, I was just like, okay. Because at first I thought Maxxine Dupri, I missed it for a split second. So I thought Maxxine Dupri was like legit knocked unconscious. And Natty's still trying to murder this woman. I was like, oh, let's calm down now. Hold up. Wait a minute. You know, I was like, let's relax. But, you know, of course, last week, you know, we didn't get a match either. So, you know, what are we stalling for? This isn't a rivalry that needs to be stalled for this long. This isn't a rivalry that necessarily needs that big of a build. You know, if I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I could be the one to always be like, oh, well, they're not putting time and they're not investing time into the women and this, that, which is, you know, this night and day, you know, to bring something up like that. But still, man, I don't know. And the only reason why I'm kind of crapping all over it is because I know Natty's gonna eat the pin on this one. I don't see Natty getting a dub out of this one at all. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. And it sucks because I want Natty to be as great as she's always been, man. As great as she is. And so it's tough. I think Maxxine Dupri looks just insanely, not necessarily soft, but she definitely keeps getting the brace beat off of her. You know, she's definitely getting the work put on her as of late by Natty, and still nothing is official. You know, we haven't gotten an actual match out of the two, which I say to that, why continue to drag this out? You know, there's absolutely no reason to continue to keep moving this one forward when this is pretty much already said and done. You know, if you ask me. So, at least in terms of what we're going to get in this result. We did see Brock Lesnar. You know, of course, we did see Brock Lesnar. Of course, we got the Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania Open Challenge. But he said, admitted no one would dare to accept it. So he has no spoilers, no predictions to give. Let's talk about Paul Heyman. And so, of course, the Beast Incarnate is just an absolute dog. Is looking for the next guy to go up against. But before all of this took place, we got Obafemi. You know, we got first off, we got an Obafemi, like a vignette, kind of like an Obafemi video, just promoting him. And then of course you get to the box, which I'll talk about that afterwards. But you know, they start talking about the box. Adam Pearce says, you know what, instead of just playing, you know, ping pong with it with Raw and SmackDown, let's bring it to Elimination Chamber. Me and Nick Aldis will open it up together. You know, which sounds like a good idea, swell idea. But then, of course, Rusev comes in and is like, hey, man, you forgot about me. Pearce is like, hey, man, I got a meeting with somebody important. Rusev says, hey, man, who's more important than me? And, of course, Oba comes out. I still believe that Oba and Brock could be a Mania match that we could see. However, that is mad early. You know, that is insanely early to be doing something like that. So I can understand, you know, getting some heavy pushback from that in itself. And it's I'm ordering food as well. That's why I'm kind of like looking all over the place. I'm trying to order food before midnight because I still got to work out in the morning as well. But I'm sorry. I mean, getting off on tangents. But even then, like, I still believe Obafemi and Brock is still set for Mania. Not set for Mania, but that's going to be my guess for Mania. I really want it to happen. It's something I'm looking forward to. And if not, I'm not going to kick his screen because, like I said, it's a little too early, you know, for Obafemi to be getting that huge, I won't necessarily say nudge. That's a push. That's a push, brother. You're getting skyrocketed going up against Brock Lesnar at Mania. We got Javon Evans versus Kofi Kingston. on Black History Month. Hey man, look, huge shout out to WWE for that. Huge shout out to WWE for that. Look, hey guys, I am dying because I can't get my my throat together. I just need to get a quick drink of water. Give me like 10 seconds. Oh man, I feel like a new man. Jesus Christ. I do have a fridge like right around the corner. I just sometimes hop right on right after Raw and just get the recording. So I'm like, oh man, I just didn't get my water. I just keep talking. And I'm like, yeah, and by the way, like it also including, and I'm like, before you lose your entire voice, just drink some water. Get your life together. But let me do that one more time before I get into this box here. Not actually get into a box, but get into this WWE box. Because, man, who do you guys think is in this box? Who do you think is in this box? Because I honestly believe that if it's who it is speculated to be, there's going to be heavy disappointment around. Because, look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We saw the work Chris Jericho did leaving AEW just recently. Now AEW, he's still on their roster page, like he isn't in there, like he isn't on like their alumni page or nothing like that. But I want to talk about these Chris Jericho rumors because I think it's just so insane that people can hate on someone. See what they've been doing this whole time for the past year and a half, and see how trash and terrible it is. Gets rumored that he's going to another company, and now everybody's all hyped about it again. Everybody's all geeked out. Like, that's not, no. I feel like what you're gonna get from Chris Jericho is exactly what you're gonna get from him in AEW. Like, honestly, I don't see. I can understand people being hyped about Chris Jericho. The work that he put in the past and the work he's done. With WWE. But brother, it's just like in more ways than one. I don't necessarily see Chris Jericho as a big key piece, for somebody in WWE to have, or somebody for WWE to have. Like, if we saw everything that this man did and we saw how terrible it was, we booed this man. This man was getting please retire chants in AEW. And yeah, we're expecting everybody to be hyped about him coming to WWE or to be hyped to getting back into the ring, if we're going to be honest with you. Like, and I can understand that's for the diehard Chris Jericho fans that's been there since day one. Like, I can understand that. But even I, who've seen Chris Jericho for a very, very long time, me being a guy born in 98, been watching wrestling since fresh out the womb, honestly. I think it's just telling that a lot of people are now jumping on the Chris Jericho hype train when in actuality you were just begging for this man to lace up, to pretty much drop his boots to do the AJ Styles, in the ring just a couple months ago. I don't know, it's weird. But we got Javon Nevins and Kofi Kingston on Black History Month. Look, huge shout out to WWE for that. Javon Nevins versus Kofi Kingston. Now, it wasn't as high paced and fast as I thought it would be. I overhyped this match. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did overhype it a little bit because I was too geeked. I was too geeked for this match. But of course, things don't work out the way they should, honestly, and it is what it is. Kofi Kingston just slowed Javon Evans down, in the match, just playing dirty at first because Javon Evans was getting the best out of him, especially with these super kicks. He was going, he was electric with the super kicks. But I'm still happy that we got an OG cutter from Javon Evans. I'm happy that Kofi Kingston still tried to play dirty, still tried to, of course, work his heel antics. Doesn't work at all. And the New Day still struggling, man. I just want the New Day to do something else instead of just not only struggle, but just stuck in a sea of nothingness. They're doing absolutely nothing with Grayson Waller as well. And seeing Grayson Waller's goatee, seeing that goatee of Grayson Waller, I don't know. It's looking really masked man-like. That's just me. He's definitely looking masked man-ish in my eyes. Of course, CM Punk came out spit a promo talking about taking risks, and of course the risk he's taking against Finn Balor in Monday Night Raw, not Monday Night Raw, excuse me, at the Elimination Chamber. Finn Balor, I mean, he has been locked in, as he should. Of course, he lost his match. He lost in his hometown. He lost the world title match in his hometown. Right now, he is locked in. He's more locked in than we've ever seen him, I think. And so him and CM Punk are just going to go war for war. I would love to see Finn Balor get the win here, but then we wouldn't get CM Punk versus Roman. And we need CM Punk versus Roman, because Finn Balor versus Roman, that's not a... I love me some Finn Balor, but that's not a WrestleMania main event. That's not... I'm sorry to tell you, as much as I love Finn Balor, that Finn Balor versus Roman... CM Punk versus Roman. And that's not because I got the CM Punk shirt on. That might look like a little bit of bias there, but honestly, CM Punk's just a bigger name. CM Punk is the guy in WWE right now. You saw the money that he was bringing in for AEW. You saw the money that he's brought in for WWE. Him versus the OTC, I think, is just a given, man. It is just an absolute given. And a huge shout out to AJ Styles, man, to wrap this whole thing up. Huge shout out to AJ Styles. AJ Styles retired. We finally, and huge shout out to AJ Styles too. One of the quickest retirement speeches. One of the quickest retirement speeches that we've seen so far. We've seen a lot of guys like Daniel Bryan, Edge, and Edge was just sad, so I don't want to put that on. But we see a lot of guys have long speeches, drawn out speeches. AJ Styles was right to the point. Hey, man, I loved it. I traveled around the world. I did everything I could, but I haven't been a full-time dad, and that's what I need to be. I will say, though, I do think AJ Styles is going to wrestle outside of WWE. I believe Justin said this before. Justin, and I'm just going to give Justin and Circle a debate the credit because I heard it on the channel. So I do think that AJ Styles will wrestle again before he turns 50. I actually made that bet with my sister because my sister told me straight up. She was just like, yeah, he said he was going to retire and he wanted to stop wrestling when he's 50. And I'm like, well, we were like, well, he's 48, about to be 49. I think he'll wrestle at least one more match. He still got to get with the Young Bucks or something like that. There's still a lot of what ifs. There's still a lot of what ifs on AJ Styles' name. Still a lot of people that he hasn't been in the ring with. So I don't think he's done just yet. But it's really, really touching. Then of course you hear the iconic noise that's being heard all around throughout the State Farm Arena in the WWE. Oh. I'm telling you, man, once you hear that, you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong. He comes out with his motorcycle and he goes in the ring and tells AJ Styles that he would like to, it's his honor, to pretty much say that he is going to be an inductee into the Hall of Fame this year. Well deserved. 100% for AJ Styles. The work that he did for WWE in the past 10 years alone is iconic, phenomenal. If I can say so myself, it's just been absolutely phenomenal. So, AJ Styles has been an absolute dog, and the work that he put in the ring is top tier, and you gotta love everything about AJ. AJ has been just an absolute dog, in WWE. I do think he'll wrestle again. I do see him wrestling again, 100%. Oh, I forgot Io Sky. Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Raquel Rodriguez, of course, had the triple threat match for the elimination qualifier, elimination chamber qualifier. And Raquel Rodriguez did get the win after Io Sky was gonna hit her over the moonsault. Kairi Sane pushed her off. Kairi Sane was gonna hit her flying elbow on Raquel Rodriguez. She got her feet up. She hit her finisher and got her out of there with the quickness. So now we got a big woman in the chamber. And let's talk about the chamber for a bit, because I don't know if this is me, but I feel like the chamber was much scarier when I was little. Like growing up, you saw steel, you saw the guys walking past the chambers, the infamous, I want to call it infamous, but the video of Booker T and them just looking at the chamber and just like, man, dog, somebody gonna get hurt. It's like somebody gonna get hurt. And that's exactly what happened, man. It looked so brutal. Shawn, and not in the same elimination chamber. I'm just bringing up guys that have participated in those types of elimination chambers. I'm talking about where it's just all steel, no padding on the floor, nothing like that. Guys like RVD, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Goldberg, Chris Jericho, Booker T, it's like Randy Orton, all those guys that participated in like the OG elimination chamber. It's just like where it seemed like, and even in the vignettes, it was just like, man, welcome to hell on earth. It's like, this is serious, man. We talked about don't try this at home. You can't even build this at home. Where would you even find this? It's like, and now, and granted, it's safer, and I love it. That's what we need for the wrestlers. But I don't know, elimination chamber just doesn't hit the way it does. When I was younger, at least in my eyes, because when I was younger, it looked brutal. It looked vicious. There was blood, there's blood in here too, but it was violent. It was, intense, and you saw just absolutely, you didn't know what to expect. Now you can kind of, assume what's going to happen in these elimination chambers, and like I said, it's not exactly all chain-like anymore, so makes it a little weird, which is a good thing. Like I said, it's still a good thing. It's not chain-like. It's some pads on the floor, which is good. It helps out the wrestlers a lot. But like I said, man, back in the day, it just looked ruthless. Like it looked overly tough. But oh man, I was getting these burps out. There it goes. I was getting these burps out because, like I said, I was coming off of a sickness as well. I was struggling, getting out of my sickness as well. Because, like I said, man, the whole clinic was not the whole clinic. I shouldn't exaggerate like that, but a good amount of the clinic was missing work for sure. And also on top of that, look, I'm on strike. I'm on strike with WWE. They playing games. They're playing games with our money, man. Look, there should be no reason for ticket prices to be $300 for nosebleeds. That ain't right. That ain't right at all. That, like, it's like there's something seriously wrong with that picture there, honestly. Because, you're talking about a family of what, 3? Maybe just a small family of 3. Mom, dad, you don't got to bring the dog. So mom, dad, kid. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's coming up on $1,000 just to sit up the top at the tippy top. For $1,000, you can just go by yourself and get yourself a ringside. Not ringside, probably get you $3,000. That's $3,000 to $5,000. Like, honestly, that's not right. WWE is just pricing out their fans. And of course, you can't go watch it at your local B-Dubs. It's like you can't go watch it at your local Twin Peaks that's in Chicago because, of course, they got the blackout where you can't watch it anywhere in that area. That's not right, man. That's a whole bunch of bull, man. And WWE, I understand what you're doing on the business side of things, but yeah, no, you're not the UFC, you're not. And what I mean by the UFC's tickets were always expensive. They raised that not narrative, but pretty much they already have it set in stone. You already know that if you want to go to a UFC event, if you want to sit in the nosebleeds, that's $500. And you got to be okay with that because that's been going on for years. WWE, as I mentioned before, the WrestleMania in California, where it was 2 nights, like I said, even though we were coming off of COVID, that was $20 per night. So, it's like, you can't tell me that. And that's a WrestleMania. WrestleMania, you could have walked in for $20 per night. Now, you can't even get into an elimination chamber. Without having to drop $400 to sit at the tippy top, to sit in front of a pole, so you can just lean over, not even knowing what you're watching. That ain't right, bro. That's bogus. That's bogus. I had to get that ran off because I ain't going. I had to get that ran off because I'm not going. I ain't going to elimination chamber. I had it set in stone. I had it in my mind. I had it ready that I was gonna go. I ain't finna wrestle with it. I ain't finna play with now. Granted, I could. I feel like we all could, drop that money down on tickets for WWE if you want to go by yourself. But nah, it's not that deep, especially when I feel like you're already playing with it. I feel like you're already playing with us at this point. And people like to blame Paul Levesque. No, I want to blame somebody higher than Paul Levesque. This got to go up to like Nick Khan and TKO and them boys. You know, it's not just, and maybe Paul Levesque does have a little bit to say, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's the primary. Oh yeah, ticket prices $300. You know, it's like ticket prices nosebleeds $300 to $500. You want to sit in like million 100 section, $1,000. You want to be near the entrances. You want to see people walking in and out. Okay, maybe hit me up with a solid 10K, but this ain't the Super Bowl. You know, it's like this is not the Super Bowl. If you want to price your tickets like that for WrestleMania or a Rumble, you know, any of your bigger events, yeah, Elimination Chamber is not that. You know, it's like Elimination Chamber is not that. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but WWE, y'all bogus. Y'all bogus for what y'all doing. Everything is all family friendly. Yeah. It's like, y'all remember everything used to be all family friendly and fun, right? All that's gone. All that's gone now. You know, it's like, it's family friendly if you can afford it. You know, it's like, it's family friendly to go if you can afford it. That's what it is, man. It's messed up. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got my 30 minutes off. My throat is killing me, man. I am hurting. That's crazy. For the one time in my life, the one thing I never wanted to do fast enough is shut up. You know, it's just like for the 37 minutes, I'm just sitting here like, okay, this water definitely saved my life. Jesus Christ. And like I said, still trying to get a little bit more consistent. The work hours started to fluctuate as people started, unfortunately, losing their jobs. Like, I mean, I don't want to, and I'm not blasting nobody, putting nobody under the bus, because a lot of those people that left bounced on to somewhere else, and most of them are a lot better, you know. So you got to give a whole lot of love to them. But you know, hours are coming in hot, and so we've been doing some great work. We've been doing some great work all around. So definitely expect to see me on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Won't do NXT. I'll probably work on something for Tuesday, but we'll definitely get back on the grind on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.